Welcome everyone to the Automana podcast. We are back. I am here with the real Shiesty. We are live every Thursday. For some reason I want to say Friday every single time. Every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Time. So make sure, if you're new to the channel, just follow the podcast or connect with us on social media for any updates. But how you doing today?
I'm doing great, and for a quick preview of today's podcast, we're going to talk about new video game related trailers.
No,
Um,
movie. These are
movie?
movies and
No.
TV shows.
Well, yeah, that's what did I just say?
You said video game trailers.
Oh God! In my head, I was thinking. In my head, I had TV movie, and I just didn't say it. You ever do that with like text messages? Or
I do
emails?
that with
You're
just
typing
normal words in general.
and I just did that. So my apologies. Yes, video game, TV show / movie trailers. Thank you. And we're gonna go a little off the rails, maybe a little bit, and kind of go outside our comfort level and go away from video games. And we're gonna talk about what's this chick's name, Collen Ballinger, and her little
And also known as Miranda
horrible
Sings.
apologies. Sure, that I tried to educate myself for this podcast, but we'll get involved into that, and basically a more kind of like open subject about hazing. But yeah, that's what our topics are for today. So for this last week has been, man, it's been interestingly not interesting. Like it's just been a meh week. No new games to announce that I have acquired. I did get to reserve the new version of the Pokemon Go Plus for Sleep. I thought it was sold out, but I actually was able to pre-order it yesterday on Amazon Prime Day, so it's like, why not? I don't know if people knew that, and my apologies if I didn't share it to those that I do talk to. But I did pre-order that, so I'll be partaking in Pokemon Sleep. And I also, well, yeah, like I said, no new games, but World of Warcraft had a new, I guess it's considered a minor patch, but to me it's a little bit major because there's a new dungeon, so that's pretty big.
Mega dungeon.
Mega dungeon, yeah. So mega dungeon, for those that don't know, is usually like 2 dungeons in one.
It's like a raid, but with a dungeon.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
They'll eventually sort it or split it in 2 basically at some point. And not a lot that came out, so
hold on 1 second. For some reason you're robotic. Now you're. Can you see me on your side?
I could see you. Am I still robotic?
You're now just a white image with the lines going through, like basically an old CRTV. Okay, hold on. Let me in Discord and recall you back again. You're good now. Whatever that was, dude, you entered the Matrix for a solid second.
I don't know what to say. On my end, everything was fine. You look fine, as you always do, by the way. And yeah, you sounded fine. I thought I sounded fine. I look good.
Yeah, that was weird because I was like looking at my internet. I'm like, uh-oh, am I lagging out again? Because yesterday there was a really bad storm, and I'm like, oh, I've been having internet problems. But it wasn't my internet, so I was like, okay, maybe it's Discord.
On this end, not this time, but something, I guess, yeah, on your end went haywire. But that's okay. We're back. Damn it, I kind of lost myself. But yeah, I haven't been playing anything else other than that. Trying to think of what did I did that might have been fun. Yeah, it's been kind of a boring week. Just getting back to work in the full swing of things. Really, full work week out of COVID. Yeah, I'm pretty boring right now. That's all I got.
For me, I'm gonna piggyback off of your Pokemon thing because recently
Sure.
I had some funny news happen to me. So, for some reason, my whole Pokemon Go thing has been reignited just because I'm like I just want to push to 50 and drop it again. So this week during Spotlight Hour during the Community Day, I caught so many Pokemon that Niantic actually sent me a message saying there's suspicious activities on your account. And it turns out that because of how much I played during this short week and how much XP I gained because of the fast catch method and also using Campfire with the VPN, they thought I was spoofing. So I got hit with a 7-day ban, but luckily I was able to send them the review for my account, and now they're reworking it back so it goes back to normal. But because I played so much with the VPN and using Niantic's own app called Campfire, they thought I was spoofing. And for those that don't know, Campfire is this new app or complimentary app that lets you check local raids in your area. It basically shows you Google Maps, and you can even chat and talk with other players on there. That's what I was using,
Oh.
but it's considered a third-party app, even though it's their own app, which is stupid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just because of how much I played, they were like, "Oh, hey, look at something suspicious. Suspicious is going on," and I thought that
Yeah.
was hilarious. Hilarious.
I was thinking the spin you were going to take on it was like everything you're talking about. Like you just came back. You're, let's say a hiatus, but somewhat of a hiatus from
Oh,
what
dude,
you
I
used.
only play on Community Day, so that's a
Yeah,
huge
exactly.
hiatus.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of how I've consumed the product to this day. But nonetheless, like if you go from just playing like that to, I guess in your case, balls to the wall, I thought maybe they're thinking like, oh, maybe this mofo got hacked. You know, and that's the spin you're gonna take. But no, they just instead gave you a good old 7-day ban for a third party issue. So it's
Yeah,
very interesting.
they're like you're catching too many Pokemon, and you're what was it? They phrase it like you're using a third party app or something like that. They sent me. I put it on Twitter, but it was funny that I was doing way too much, and they're like, "Oh, he's going too fast." Because I think
Yeah,
within like a span of 2 days, I got like over 7 million XP.
be like, what is this, Twitter? Now I have catch limits?
But it's funny because like there's people in our Discord, that in our area that we have. They taught
Mhm.
me this fast catch method where I can just like instead of doing the whole animation, I could just throw back out, go to another one, and I can pretty much catch 100 Pokemon within like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's been out for a while now. I remember that being a thing when we were playing pretty frequent, but I always refused to do it. Not out of the idea of what happened to you would happen, but I like seeing the entire thing play out. Like, I don't know, I like to see if I caught it because that's not a foolproof way of catching either. I mean, it's just a faster way of trying to catch Pokemon, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee you catching Pokemon.
Well, neither is
So,
locking in your screen, so that's why when you do the fast catch method, you spin your ball, go back out, go to the next Pokemon, and if that Pokemon didn't disappear, you just do it
then you know
again.
you didn't catch it.
Yeah.
I get that, but what I'm saying is like I want to know then and there, right? And I'm still really big on reviewing it then and there because to your point, then you got to spend hours just to go through them unless you are
Actually,
transferring them.
all I do is you press the appraise, and once the appraise is there, it stays up, and you just keep swiping to all the
Correct.
Pokemon. You favorite the ones you are
Yeah.
good, and then after you're done praising all of them, you go back and just delete the ones that aren't starred. That's it.
Yeah. I get it, but you still have to do that.
But you
And
gotta do that
I'm just
regardless on any of them.
well, I know, but I just like to do it then and there is what I'm saying. Like I just do it there. But I don't disparage, that's how you want to play. That's how you want to play.
I used to do that too, and then I realized how ineffective it is, and I
Uh,
was hurting myself on so much XP.
no, you hurt yourself on XP when you don't play. That's all.
Well, when you do this fast catch method, it opens you up big time. Like what was the spotlight hour on Tuesday? I
Hmm.
think I got 3 million alone just with an hour playing.
Yeah,
Like
but
that's a lot of XP.
no, it is. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, like, you do you, I do me.
I just want to get to level 50 because I got to 40. I'm like I've been on 41 for almost a year and a half because of me not playing as much. I'm like
Hmm.
it's just time for me to make the push.
Yeah, I feel like I've been level. I think I'm 44. I think or 43. I can't remember, but wherever I'm at, I've been at that stage for a while. And but I haven't been motivated really to make the push. Like I've thought about it because I did go out this to your point. Now that you're reminding me, like, hey, what did you do this past week? I did go out for the community day, but I was only out for about a little bit over an hour. I walked like this path that's close to my house, and now that the weather's nice, and that was cool. But the part of me of like wanting to get out and do the community thing again, like I do miss it. I truly do, but I just don't think it's there anymore. I don't know if you went out to like the old stomping ground, so to
Oh,
speak,
I always do
and if
every
there were
single
people.
community.
Yeah, was there people out?
I mean, there is, but I have this. Well, because I'm with my mom when I play most of the time, or some of the times.
Hmm. Hmm.
I usually it's just me and her talking. We play Pokemon. We move on. Because when you have other people, it slows you down, and I just want to get my thing and move on. So I don't really do the chit chat until before or after the community day. During it's focus time.
Yeah, I think it depends. I agree with you. Sometimes it depends on the Pokemon, and that one Probably, I mean, square with glasses. That's kind of one you want if that's your thing and your jam you want to focus on. I know I did the first go around, which was like what 20 years ago. But more times than not, like if it's something I'm not invested in, like I could still chit chat and walk around and catch and not really care. But once again, everybody plays differently, so um, yeah. So I did do that. What else? What else did you have going on? Since I said I was pretty boring.
Um, I've been sticking around with the same games. I've still been playing Diablo because the new season's about to come out soon. So I'm still trying to wrap up for the OG Platinum. I'm still playing Crash Team Rumble. I'm still playing Street Fighter. I'm still trying to finish up Final Fantasy, which I'm in Final Fantasy mode. Like people that haven't played Final Fantasy mode with the combat initiative or focus, they need to do it because it is amazing on how smooth the combat is. Like people are complaining it's like one button smash and that's it. No, if you take story off and put combat focus on with Final Fantasy mode, you have to know your timing and your dodge. If you do not, you're gonna get messed up big time. And people that are saying the combat's too easy, they just need to play it and stop bitching. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
I would like to try it. I just don't right now with WoW getting back in the swing of things. I don't have the time once again, but maybe someday I'll pick it back up. I was really tempted to do it. I think it was Sunday for a little while, but didn't do it. And as far as looking forward to anything, yeah, it's still time away.
Also, you're asking me if I picked up anything. I did.
Yes.
I didn't pick up any games, but I picked up these giant ass posters that I would like to show. So I got this. Let's see. Show and tell time. I got this giant Cowboy Bebop poster. I also have. Hold on. Let me change boards here. I got this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles say no to drugs, yes to pizza thing. And
that's a cool one.
Pokemon related. I got this Blastoise vs. Charizard Kanto thing. It's the matchup of the century. Look at that. Right there.
Cool. Man, those look pretty fucking big, man. How?
They are 36 by 24. 24 in width, 36 in height.
Gotcha. Okay, so pretty standard. I guess the way you kind of showcase them, they looked a little bit bigger, but that's cool. That's pretty much standard for posters.
Yeah, but I got those. I'm like, so... because I've recently discovered Discreet Play thanks to you, I've gone over there to buy some movies, some games, and because I spent over $50 a couple times, I got these $10 coupons, and these posters were all $10. So I was like, all right, I have 3 $10 coupons. What do I want to spend it on? I didn't see anything I wanted to buy, and I seen the posters. I'm like, oh, all right, I'll get the posters.
Did you have to use them that day?
So they give you a 2-week window to use it. It's like either between the first of the month to the mid of the month or mid of the month to the end. So I realistically I have 2 more days left if I want to use it, but I just wanted to go on the weekend and check it out. Well, what I forgot, because I haven't hung up any artwork in a while, is the posters are cheap. The poster frames, on the other hand, are very expensive.
Depends on what you want. Like, can they be expensive? Yes. Can you get them dirt cheap like at Walmart? Also, yes.
Dude, the dirt cheap ones that are like just plain border frame, plastic frame, whatever, that's like $30.
No.
Yes.
You can get, no, you get it for like $12, dude.
Well, not for this size.
You
can find them for like $10 or $11 if you're looking for like a small frame, but the ones I have, they're like $30 each.
I do not remember them being that expensive.
They went up in price within the last 3 years.
I mean, it's been a while, but like I don't remember being that expensive. So I know, like I have some funky size ones that are hard to find, and those are expensive. But like your standard, like that's a standard size, right? Like I don't remember them being that pricey.
I don't think that's a standard price. I went to Walmart, I went to Target, and I went to Michael's.
Well, for Michael's, you definitely don't want to go there. Yeah, I know I didn't spend that much on the low grade stuff. Now, did I spend that much on a higher grade one, like one of my Boardwalk Empire posters? Yes, because that one's really nice. It's like a wood trim, and it's like really thick, and it's not like the little itty bitty ones. Like I'm telling you, the really itty bitty ones that are
Yeah,
plastic.
very thin black frame
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
plastic cover on top.
yeah.
Those are getting more expensive
30
too.
bucks? What? Okay, I'm floored by that.
Walmart was the cheapest one at $26.
Still, that's no. It should be half that amount. Hmm. Okay. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you don't have to tell me anything because I bought ones I wanted. I looked at another store. It was
Mm-hmm.
like an independent store. It was these movie grade with like what was it like a fabric thing around it. You know, you see at movie studios, or like theaters.
Okay.
So they had a sale going on, or they say they had a sale. I don't really care. I might have got baited, but I got it was a buy one get one free. There was $60. So I bought two for $6. I'm like, that's basically going to Walmart and buying two cheap ones at the same price. So I did
Mm-hmm.
that, and I also bought two more because I have something else coming. So I'm hoping they'll be here in like a week or two, and I want to put them up.
Mm-hmm. I need to. Well, I don't need anything now, but I want to find like somebody that could do like shadow boxes because I want to get some like shadow boxes done. And I know those aren't cheap. Like
What are
that
shadow
could easily
boxes?
shadow boxes. So shadow boxes are usually things that you want to use to memorialize. That's not like not like posters. Like you want to showcase like
Oh, I see
magazines
them now.
or jerseys or um, XYZ shit like that. Those are shadow boxes.
They
So
range in
like,
prices. I'm seeing like the normal ones for like $20, and I see some other ones for like jerseys for $300.
oh yeah, they get stupid expensive, and a lot of them usually you get customized, right? Because like you could get it like with just you just need it for a jersey. Fine, here's one with just a jersey. But then you could get one that has like additional space on the bottom, and it's like here's a spot for an 8x10 photo, and here's two other spots for whatever the hell you want to do. Like, I kind of want stuff like that. Like, I think I want to get into the habit of really capturing like moments that I've like met a celebrity and got their kind of like picture taken with them or an autograph or something like that. Kind of make something really nice and fancy. Where like you'll always have that story to tell, but then you could like easily have the story told through one big shadow box. Like I think those things are really cool.
Some of these are actually really cool. They have some for like movie posters where it has like a backlit frame.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, usually those things are like fully customized. Like,
Well, it depends on where you buy them. I'm looking at them at
well, I
Michael's
mean,
and Amazon. They're like $20
yeah.
depending on the size. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so there's a couple things that I might want to do for that. Like I don't know if I ever showed it on the podcast. Actually, it's nowhere near me now that I think about it. But I had bought a wrestling turnbuckle at a pay-per-view that was signed by like I don't know, like 20 of the wrestlers. So I would like to get that like in a shadow box, probably with my. Oh well, I don't have a ticket stub because they don't do tickets anymore, which kind of sucks. But figure something out, something cool and spiffy. So. Like I think that'd be like a really nice piece to hang somewhere.
You know what I kind of want? That's really stupid. You know those like director like cut boards?
Yes,
I want one of those, and also
I
like
think they're
those old
called
movie frames.
they call like slides or something.
I,
Like
I know they're pretty cheap. You can buy them on Amazon.
oh,
I just never
once
pulled the
again,
price on them.
there's an array of those type of things. I forgot what they're called. They just called director slides, start stop slides. Either way, I know exactly what you're talking about. And same thing. I mean, you could buy cheap ass ones, or you could buy super spiffy ones that have the clock running on it. Like they go crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna use it to directing movies. I just want it as a display piece.
Well, in that case, you probably find one like at like I don't know, it's one of those places, like Five Below or something. I don't know.
Dude, I've been recently going to like, well, obviously, like I was telling you about the poster frames, going to Michael's, which I don't usually go to often, but I've recently
Mhm.
gone to a store called Hobby Lobby. They have
Oh
a
yeah,
lot of cool little knickknacks there. Some of
they're
them are
expensive.
expensive, but
Yeah,
I love how we said that at the same
well, it
time.
is. They are like no, I'm like smiling and laughing that you're like oh they do, but it's fucking expensive. Same with Michaels. I mean, Michaels they both of those stores they got good stuff, but like you're gonna pay for it.
But I think the reason why I like Hobby Lobby now is because it's weird. It caters to Christians, which you'll see like Bible books and all that stuff, which I think is hilarious. Like they have a Bible comic book of Jesus, and I think that's super funny. But not only that,
Mhm.
they have a super nerdy section, where people that like to like build like figurines and all that stuff and like paint them. They
Yeah.
legit have a little booth area so people can
Mhm.
do that or buy them and learn how to do it. I think it's cool.
Mhm.
They even have presets of like the little plastic cutouts that you can like get your test subjects before going to your wood ones.
So it's funny, like you bring that up because uh, rewinding back to a few episodes when I told you I went out and bought that Magic the Gathering box. So I went to a new hobby store to buy that, and but it was more geared towards um, board games and tabletop games. So I remember, I think you had mentioned one point that you had, a fantasy of maybe even getting into tabletop games. So they had that section where they had all the different paint, and then the unpainted figures and stuff. And I was like, and it was just like it didn't look trashy, or like it was a nice clean store. And I was like, damn, like that's hardcore. Like I wouldn't know a damn thing about this, but it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, like dude, those people that paint those, I want to call them figurines, but they probably have a different word for them. They have like
Hmm.
this little magnifying thing that goes over their desk. They're very, meticulous about the arts, the brush strokes, and all that stuff. I,
Hmm.
those people are just amazing. They're true
Yeah, it's
artists.
yeah, it's there's an artsy, a creativity, and also it's a hobby, right? For the most part. I mean, I'm sure there's a huge market for people that just paint and don't even play and
Oh,
resell. Like,
oh, there's a huge market for people that
yeah, I'm
played
certain.
Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer 40K. There, people will sell all those things.
Oh yeah,
But it's
I'm
funny,
sure.
the people that make those, I can understand why their eyesight's so bad because they have to really focus in on those fine detail of these small objects, and that messes
Yeah,
up your eyes pretty bad.
I could imagine. But not my cup of tea, but I respect it. Respect it.
Yeah, it's not mine either, but I think it's cool.
Oh, for sure. So outside of that, trying to think if there's anything else noteworthy. Uh, at least in small news, what you got for small news?
So I actually have a couple things, small news wise.
Mm-hmm.
So I, this is a thing that's still developing, but recently Microsoft versus the FTC has been closed. The judge
Mm-hmm.
favored for Microsoft, which it was sounding really good. Now they're working for the CMA, for the UK thing. But because of certain people in the FTC, just not accepting the how the ruling was, they're trying to get it appealed again so they can work for something else. But apparently, there's an investigation going on by the person that is trying to do the appeal on the FTC. How they were either getting bribed or paid by other companies to
Mm-hmm.
bring this up, and they also have also a shady history of doing other things as
Mm-hmm.
well. So this whole legal battle between for Microsoft buying Activision is shining a light on a lot of people in the corporate world and political world in all countries. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's funny, and hopefully we'll get this resolved too soon. But so far, everybody has an agenda, and people are getting paid.
Yeah,
But it looked
I
like
thought it
we're
was
done for a
funny.
second.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that um, what was it? The FTC, right? Did I say that right? Is it
Yeah,
FTC?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
FTC.
Their Wikipedia page got hacked and they put Sony's logo on there.
Well, it's funny. It's probably
I thought,
because that
I thought it
girl
was,
that was trying to appeal it also has some shares with Sony, so I think that's why maybe the
oh
hackers did
wow,
that.
that's funny. That's it's kind of a shame that like how easy it is to connect those dots, and yet people still turn a blind eye. Like I don't know. Like sometimes it's so shady, it's blinding.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because obviously, what was it, today or yesterday, the FTC was trying to appeal it, but the day before, when the courts actually favored, for Xbox, Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, currently made a
Hmm.
string of threads, which I could read right now. If, it's only three things. He says, "We're grateful to the court for swiftly deciding in our favor. The evidence showed the Activision Blizzard deal is good for the industry, and FTC claims about console switching and multi-game subscription services and clouds don't reflect the realities of the game market. Since we first announced this deal, our commitment to bringing more games to more people on more devices has only grown. We signed multiple agreements to make Activision Blizzard games, Xbox first party games, and Game Pass all available to more players than they already are today. We know that players around the world have been watching this case closely, and I'm proud of our efforts to expand player access and choice throughout this journey, which that's what they've been doing all around. Um, but for some reason, people at Sony are like, if this deal goes through, they're not going to send dev kits over to Xbox so they can, program games for them, which I think is kind of silly that they're like, Xbox is like, oh, we'll bring games to you. And then Sony's like, well, if you buy it, we're not going to give you dev kits to work on our system. I'm like, okay, you're just hurting the players on that side. And now seeing the FTC having, trying to get appealed, because of them having Sony shares, it's like, yo, come on now. It's like you're making yourself look worse than you already are. Just let the deal go through and cover up your shady side.
Yeah, like I'm sure we'll have plenty of talk when this deal. I think at this point eventually will be a done deal and get through. I think I read that already. I want to say it's whatever the Activision Blizzard or just Activision in itself, whatever their Wall Street handle is, it's already been taken off, and then they're like, oh, this is probably a sign that the deal's moving forward already in a rapid pace. And so yeah, we'll take a very deep dive on it in the future when it's a done deal. And see how it goes. One part that I thought was funny in the court, and we didn't bring, we kind of avoided talking about this reoccurring, and it was almost like every week, right? There was something new, so we felt like hosting this podcast, it was too reoccurring to be bringing up every podcast. But one of the things I remember reading like weeks ago, Microsoft like admitting that they're in last place with like sales and stuff, and that's why that it's okay for the deal to. And I was like, oh, good move. Just admit that you suck.
Well, it's funny. So people don't understand the marketing reason, because people for some reason are really hell bent on, oh, whoever sells the most consoles is the winner. When no matter what, when Xbox and Sony sell a console, they sell it at a loss. They sell it at $200 to $300 loss because of the equipment. It'd be too expensive to buy for the consumers, so they make that money up with the live service. And Xbox is not losing in that department. They are far and beyond any other competition.
And that's why it's funny, because like it's just stupid that it works.
Yeah, they're like, we'll play the humble thing, but really, we're number one.
It's so funny, and that's why I laughed. I'm like, oh my god, like. But anyway, I thought I had more like small news to share, because like just like every week I tend to look at like, oh, what did I like in between, and once again I just don't have anything. But I brought this up before the podcast, and I'm gonna do it now just because I like to laugh, and hopefully other people laugh at this as well. But I tend to like memes like everybody else in the world, and this may be telling of me, but I follow a parody account of Satan on Twitter, and Satan tweeted a meme that said, I don't have to go over the pictures are irrelevant, but the title of it says, frustrated elephant, quote, that failed to find a girlfriend to mate, end quote, returns to Chinese town for a second rampage in 5 days. And then he says, understandable.
I mean, hey, when you got the pent up rage, you gotta let it out somehow.
That's why I was like, oh my god, this is way too stupid and funny at the same time. Like, I have to like it. It's like, what? Like, you can just picture, like, just take the elephant part out of it and just, like, apply anything. It's like, someone can't get laid, and they're, like, really pissed off, so they go on a rampage, and just like, yeah, I get it.
Well, I'm not sure if you've seen the ostrich stuff. Like, people used to meme that in the early days. Whenever like a male ostrich gets like really angry because they, obviously don't find a mate, they get so angry that they actually, constantly headbutt the head onto the ground until they basically break their neck and commit suicide.
Oh shit! No, I don't think I've noticed. I don't think I've seen that one. I thought I remember some, like, I've seen with the ostriches, like their head is in the sand or in the dirt, whatever ground, and it's like, hiding from whatever, right? Like they'll just, like, oh, you're doing a good job there, buddy. It's like we can see your whole body, all because you're hiding your head doesn't mean you're hiding. So I thought that's what you were gonna say, but because those are also pretty infamous as well. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that stupid funny meme because it just makes me laugh.
I'm probably going to follow Satan myself. I know there's a parody account
Yeah.
of Annabelle, the doll, that also makes a lot of funny tweets as well.
No, I don't know about that one. I used to follow God as well, but since so I'm not just I wasn't following Satan. I followed God too, and but God has since deleted his Twitter ever since Elon Musk took over. So God has
God has
left. So
left.
God just God just left. Satan's like, hey, Elon's my type of guy. God's like, fuck off.
I bet you the
Um,
person that had the Satan account is also the same person that owned the God account.
it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. So you see, things like that is why I like Twitter. And let me also why this is why parodies are funny, and this is why parodies are needed in the world. And you can't take the world and life serious sometimes. Like you have to laugh. And I just had to say that at the end.
It's definitely there's so many funny accounts on Twitter, man. Not just Twitter, but like on the internet in general.
Mhm.
But speaking of which, this is also another little mini news thing because it's a weird occurring event. Have you seen the lady freak out on the plane about a shapeshifter?
I have. I saw the video, or at least what is it, like a 24, 35-second video of her, and I don't know. I don't know what to think. I just really don't. I think it's funny that obviously they're doing memes galore of that one too, and I saw something. I think it was even today. Even I saw something funny where they're like, you could quickly identify the Karens of the world. Nobody could figure out who the fuck this chick is, and it's like, yeah, it's true.
But
And
that's the
or even the other person. It's like,
well, the weird thing about this story. I'm convinced that this is a stage media thing or something because has actually happened 3 times in 45 days. One was with a male guy, couple like 2 weeks before that, and another one was with another person, while within a 4 to 5 day period, on different continents of each other, claiming the same exact thing. People were saying that somebody was whispering to them, and then after that, that's when they freaked out, and they're all talking about the shapeshifter, which is weird. So it's either this is real or somebody is playing an elaborate prank and they're trying to make it on all airlines because one of them actually opened up the plane mid-flight and jumped out of the plane while it was in air.
what?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this has been a multiple case incident. The girl was the biggest one that highlighted everything, but there's been multiple instances of this happening recently, and I wonder if it's an ongoing trend or what's happening here.
I don't fly often, and I will be flying. I guess that's news I could share. I'll be flying in November
To
again because
California.
I'm going to California for BlizzCon. How did I forget? God, I'm so stupid. Anyway, yes, I am going to BlizzCon. I'm so happy, and I'm going to pit stop at Universal Studios and check out Super Nintendo World as well. I buried that lead. Anyhow, I will admit, um, I have flown before 9/11 as well, but I think post, like, you tend to think a little bit more. Your mind tends to wander a little bit crazier. It can get like anxiety can set in, right? And even me as a flyer, like, not that I'm immediately thinking or the worst or whatever, but like, you could tend to wander a little bit, and I can't say I thought I've like saw anything or think, but like, I don't know, people have different anxiety levels, man, and that's why a lot of people, they get drunk, or at least drink a little bit before they fly. Why do you think there's so many bars
Or they have an
uh
ambient where
in
they
the
just make
terminals?
themselves pass out.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a thing. um I've done it a couple times. I don't need it, but I have. But yeah, so like, everybody has different anxiety levels, and the slightest thing could set somebody off, and all it really takes is one little hallucination. She just went, woo, bonkers. Like, that's kind of what I'm attributing it to. I'm thinking she just fucking hallucinated.
I don't think she did. It's either this was set up as an elaborate thing because it's happened a couple times already, and also Carrot Top was on that plane, which I think is even funnier. Because he was on that plane, he has videos of himself watching the lady freak out, and there's also a bunch of other influencers there too. Um, so I'm like, this has to be staged because I was trying to look at the other two, but there's very little information, especially with the guy jumping out of the plane in midair.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
supposedly there's other media people on there too. And I'm like,
if it was staged, what's the game? Like, I
that's
mean,
what I'm trying to
obviously
figure out.
everything, huh?
I said that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, the only gain I could see is all the now that you're mentioning there's other notorious people on the plane. Like, of course, there's viewership garnishment with or garn. Yeah, did I say that right? You garnish a lot of it of the money, but like, is it worth one person sacrificing that and also risk getting arrested and all that stuff? They don't play with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like there's repercussions, even if you are or even if you attempt to stage it, like there's gonna be repercussions.
Yeah, but oddly
So
enough, the girl wasn't arrested. Like after the
I
plane
don't think
incident,
so
she was just
either.
gone.
Yeah, I believe you are correct on that one as well. I think the weirder thing is like once again, I mean, how is it that the person she's talking about hasn't come to light? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that to me, that's the weird part. Like it was recorded, and it's like there is absolutely no footage of someone saying they're looking, or even after she's gone, like this is the guy that they're, you know what I'm saying, like that
Well,
she was
they
talking
have
about. Like,
somebody, but people are like, doing their little online sleuthing thing, and they were saying that there was this guy in the green hoodie that she was talking about,
yeah.
but then also the multiple different footages didn't align with the positioning of what actually happened in the one continuous video of her
I'm not,
streaming.
I'm not talking about the footage of her reaction. I'm saying post reaction. How is it that nobody, started imaging that person or even video recording
Well,
the person?
that's what I'm saying is that they had a recording on the guy with the green hoodie saying that that was the one she was yelling at, but
Uh
that's the
huh.
only person that they say what she was targeting. But with all the multiple recordings and angles, they saying it doesn't line up with if that's actually who she's yelling at.
But if they all are targeted at the same person, then how is it a question?
Because the people that are saying the story are saying that they're in this position, but the footage shows them somewhere completely else.
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the footage, so until I see it, I guess it's hard for me to make a
I've
judgment
watched like
call
a
on it.
full 20-minute video because I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Is this real or fake? Is she really freaking out? Like, what's going on? And then seeing like the multiple angles, I'm like, okay, there's something weird's going on here. Like this, it's either staged or people
I
are
didn't.
fragmenting footages and putting it all together to make it look like some continuous thing.
I didn't even know there was a 20-minute video. Like I said, I only watched like whatever the clip of her reacting was. That was it.
Yeah, to me, this reminds me of like you remember that obelisk that randomly popped up around the world, like that little spear.
No, no.
Oh man, there's like this
You're
metallic
talking about
obelisk.
the sphere in Las Vegas that just
No,
got installed
no,
like 3 years ago?
no. There's an actual sphere that would pop up in random places around the Earth, and it would be like in the desert, be in the middle of a city. I don't. It might have been like a year or two ago when this happened, but like it was
Oh,
constantly
I
reappearing.
know what you're talking about, and it turned out to be like a boo.
Oh, I don't know what it was. All I know is that
Yeah,
maybe it's something like that where you have three instances of these people doing this. Maybe it's like the obelisk
I think
incident.
the most recent one was like Japan or something. I know what you're talking about now. It washed up ashore, right?
No, it's just like
Does
a
that ring a bell?
giant metal figure thing.
Well, if it's the same thing you're talking about, I don't know. But if I may, I remember seeing an article, and this was kind of recent too. It was this year, I think, where it was just this like perfect sphere washed up on the
It's not
shore.
a sphere. It's not a sphere.
But didn't you call it a sphere?
No, I called it an obelisk.
Oh, I thought
You
after
said
that
Las
you said.
Vegas sphere, and you're just probably going off of that.
Yeah, probably. Well, anyways, if I may piggyback on your story, even though it might not be the same, it is not the same thing, according to you. But long story short, they like, uh, um, you know,
Okay,
taped it off, treated it like this big
I'm
old
not sure if you
UFO
can
type
image.
thing. Yeah, no, yeah, no,
That's
I've never.
the thing that's been appearing around the world randomly for like
Yeah,
the last 3 years.
yeah, that to me looks completely staged. No,
Well,
this
that
was.
picture, but people have multiple videos and
Yeah, I'm saying like
photos.
people are planning it, whether it's the same person or a collegion of people to do it. To like that, just to me sounds all staged.
Well, obviously, but the fact that people have been doing it for like the last 3 years in random spots in the desert and
Yeah,
cities, and people
yeah,
taking pictures of it,
yeah,
it's just like I'm saying that's what this plane thing might be about.
yeah. Maybe, maybe. I'm not gonna poo-poo it.
I think it's funny that I was talking about this obviously like sphere, Las Vegas. We're going.
I mean, I'm sorry. I tried to get on your same page because the story. If I let me just put a bow on it. Long story short, they did all this testing on it, and they just freaking buoy that broke, and then that only that sphere portion, that's the buoy that keeps it afloat, washed up, and that
Wait,
was all it was.
so if it was on a sea, a normal, even a broken buoy, somebody would be able to recognize that right away. The fact that it was tricking people, I'm like, somebody probably did that as like a internet meme spoof or whatever.
It was tricking people.
But that's funny. But I
But
actually have two other mini news roundups quickly.
sure, sure, sure.
This one is very sinister, and this one
Okay,
is realistic.
okay.
So, I'm pretty sure you heard about the Writers Guild, going on strike.
Yes, yes.
Apparently, a lot
And
of the big
now
studios are saying that these people that are on strike are in for a rude awakening because they're going to wait this out until they lose their homes, and then they're going to buy cheaper people to come back.
I read that too, and that the other thing I thought you were just going to toss out there because it's fresh for today is even
Uh,
the SAG-AFTRA. Oh, okay, you're getting to that.
yeah, where
Yeah. Okay.
Hollywood studios are proposing scanning background actors using AI and paying for
Oh, God.
1 day's work, but because they scan them, they're allowed to just pay them once, and they can use their image whenever they want, unlimited. So people and like big studios like Disney, Netflix, Amazon, Warner Brothers are advocating for this. And if they do this, this will be horrible because that means they could scan you once and use you for the rest of your life and make money off of you while you only make 1 day's work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when I read that, the part of me after that was like, well, why do they need one person, or why do they need real people? Why don't you just fucking CG them anyway? You've been doing it to begin with, so why even use background actors? Like, I
Animation
mean, I don't.
time.
I mean, I guess, but like, I feel like a smart person or entity group, whatever, could come up with a way to make a person, even if it's a robotic, and just use that and just flesh out CGI with that one humanized figure. Like, I don't
Well,
know.
this is the problem. Hollywood and all these other big movie studios are using a couple of animation studios. That's why when people are like, "Oh, the animation sucks," it's because people pay the studio to work for a very limited time frame, and they are already working
It's
on
the
multiple
unions. Yeah.
studios at multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why if you keep overloading them with all the stuff that they don't need, and you can do practical
Mm-hmm.
stuff like hire someone,
Mm-hmm.
everything's gonna look worse visually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, like I said, I mean, not to flaunt, but I've been on sets a lot, and when you see it from that perspective and how rapid pace it is because of the unions, like it's amazing what the end product is. Because like I've sat on sets and I've seen like Kelsey Grammer fuck up a lot, a lot, and then it's like, oh, her, we got 30 minutes of lunch, like we got to wrap this. It's like, holy shit, like like
Oh, they're time
and
frame
then
oriented for sure.
and that they don't. I mean, I know they do some scenes like at nauseum without the union rules, but those are like the ones that don't have the background stuff, right? That's just the main actors, like on private sets, right? But like the fact that it's like you see the end product that you were sitting in, god damn, like it's amazing the work to do, and that's just the one thing that like at least I was a part of, and it's like that, right? That's Hollywood, and it's like it really is amazing, but um all that said, yeah, that is just fucking horrible. And even with them saying they're going to use like Chat GTP or whatever AI programs to start doing writing and shit like that, like it's, you know what? I didn't. Once again, this will probably never happen, but it's like let them and see if the consumers, if the consumers right. Once again, I don't see that happening, but I think that's the only time you start seeing real results. Will we get results with this dual strike going on? I'm pretty sure we will. But you want real results? Let this go and let the consumers strike. Then
Well,
you'll see some fucking real results.
Well, you are seeing real results now. Like, because of this Writers Guild, I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's been a massive influx of English actors, British actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because they
That's
don't go
why.
by the same rules. And
Correct.
I hate to say this, but those British actors are oftentimes better. I'm going to be honest. The new stuff, like with Henry Cavill, Tom Holland, Colin Murphy and all that stuff, and even some of the new people coming up now, I'm like, they're way better than the American ones because the American ones are trying to act. Well, I use the term woke, but they try to act like this weird teenage thing that they're going for, and I'm like, you don't need that. Go just normal act like other people.
Did you see Tom Holland's remarks about Hollywood?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's your answer, right? Kind of part of your answer. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood's jacked up, and that's why there's like even like I started doing a little bit more reading, and I don't know if I mentioned this at all, but I kind of started, getting the itch, like, should I try again? Should I go back and start networking again? And I'm like, nah, probably not. Like if I'm gonna do something, like even before I started getting on actual sets and stuff, like I really love the Kevin Smith approach. Do you independently, and you're not gonna be that mega star. Not that that matters, but like, you know, get your fame and notoriety that way. Build your brand, right? Will you eventually need Hollywood to a certain degree? Publishing and shit, yeah, but like be independent, and I think that's probably this. I shouldn't say the safer route, but that's where you like keep you right, and you don't have to really get fucked by Hollywood, so to speak, and in some cases, in reality.
Well, it's kind of funny that you're saying that because there's a lot of studios now coming up that have gone independent. Like, actors that hate big Hollywood studios, like Brad Pitt making, what was it, the B Team production, Adam Sandler making his Happy Gilmore Studios, Kevin Smith doing his. Then same thing with John Wick. The I forgot his actual name. He was like, I'm not gonna go with any of that stuff. That's why he's independent. He went with Lionsgate. It's like a production thing, but he still made his own studio to do all that stuff. And then same thing with the people that made Everything Everywhere All at Once. Very minimum budget. They had their own thing. They weren't gonna go with any law rules that the other studios had, so they made their own so they could make their movie they wanted, and they've been ultra successful.
Yeah, no, I would say so. Like I said, are they um um the Camerons of the world, or the Nolans? No, but
But you gotta start somewhere, and that's how you get your name out
well,
there.
and not only that, but I applaud their success tenfold, because like they're doing it all. They're not making the big bucks, but who cares? Like they're
Oh, so
super successful, and they make quality fucking shit.
but this show, and I hate to say this because people are like, oh, safety for jobs. Well, yes, you want people to have their jobs, but if they're not doing their jobs well, why are they in their job? That's why I'm like kind of if and against this Writers Guild thing, because a lot of people that were doing well weren't with this Writers Guild. They were doing their own thing. They were creating their own stuff. Like the guy from John Wick, he was a stunt coordinator for other action movies, and he was like, you know what? I don't like the way they do their stuff. I'm gonna do it my way, write my own script, and eventually, after a couple films and his success, he found his way as a director and a screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with those other people. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe the Writers Guild isn't wrong in this scenario. Maybe, like, obviously there should be a safety net, so if you're a director or a screenwriter and you're, writing for something, you should have a contract to be safe during that time. But other than that, you got to prove yourself as a writer in order to get to these shows. Like, look at Netflix.
Oh,
Not everything they put is gold, and there's a lot, they spend millions and millions of dollars on crap. I'm like, flush those guys out.
I agree to an extent, because I'm sure there's a lot of good writers that are. How can I get this up? I'm sure there's a lot of good writers that are told they're good writers, but then once it translates through the director's eyes or the producer's eyes, then it's fucked. And that's the very thing interesting about the Writers Guild. Like I've looked into it once upon a time. I'm sure a lot of things have changed, and now they'll probably change again, whatever having. But like, you know, I may have mentioned this in the past, and to this very day, I still have not finished it. But I probably would have to rewrite it all, because it probably wouldn't. You talk about a certain culture earlier, so I was writing a full length comedy, script, and a part of me was like, okay, when I'm done with, because unless I were to gain popularity, turn into a Kevin Smith and actually be able to produce slash direct my own script, odds are not in my favor. So it's like,
What you could do is just sell it off. You could advertise and be like, hey, listen, I got this script, read it. If you like it, go ahead, produce it.
Correct. That's another route. But then, dare I say, the safer route is to just register it with the Writers Guild. Basically, all that happens is like you put it into their vault, and anybody could read it, and they could pick it up, and then they could buy it. And with the collective bargaining, depending on the budget of, and like I said, these rules may but depending on the budget they use for that script is how you will get paid. So don't remember the numbers, but hypothetically, I think it was like, oh, they bought my script, they spend a budget of over $2 million. I, by the collective bargaining agreement, have to get paid $113,000, something like that. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's like that's good money in one lump sum. I think a lot of people middle class would admit, but in the grand scheme of things, like shit, that film could end up being, worth $10 million. I don't know, just throwing out a figure out there, or maybe it becomes super successful and it's like 54 million. You know what I'm saying? But then that's the money. But now you gain notoriety. Who wrote that? Oh, you did. Now the rest of Hollywood might become knocking on your door. Hey, you guys. So, like, there's there's good things and then there's also bad things. So I don't know all the things they're fighting for. I haven't read into it that much, but I know a lot of it's always money. Always is about money, and I don't know what they're really asking for.
One thing I would like to see, and I think this might be, I don't know how they would implement this, is I'd love to see more. I think they call it this. They have like this. Is it called the Sundance Awards or whatever? They have something
every year. Yeah,
but
that's
I
like
want them to. I want them to make like a certain limited time frame where writers collaborate together and they, pitch their script. They get people to act them out, whatever, and make like anthologies. Because I'm not sure if you watch Love, Death, and Robots or Black Mirror or J.J. Abrams, but like most of them, they get random people that have a decent script, but they know it won't catch on, so they implement to their stuff and make it just a one-off story. If it catches, then maybe they'll get work somewhere else because of how their writing worked. Like, for example, one of the reasons why I like J.J. Abrams is because have you heard the Cloverfield series?
I've heard of it, but don't really know much about it.
So because he owns a production company, Bad Robot, he has found people that have just wrote scripts for an idea, like, a live take shoot, but he's like, okay, well, let's add a little bit more to connect the universe, like an anthology. So he put a monster in there. And then same thing with 10 Cloverfield Lane. Why it was so different? It was an underground, more of like, suspense horror, is because somebody else wrote that, and he was like, all right, well, let's put this into a movie, and let's just put another monster in it so it can connect, to make it look like a series, but these individual writers are starting to get notoriety now. Same thing with the Cloverfield Paradox. It was a space sci-fi thing, but then at the very end, a small little snippet, you see the monster again. And I'm just like, that's how people could probably, instead of doing the Writers Guild, they could just do like a collaboration with directors or other writers and make anthologies just to get their one story out there. And if people are like, oh, this guy knows how to write a story, they'll pick him up for other things.
Yeah, it's dare I say the same concept I just said, but without the Writers Guild, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like the opposite of the Writers Guild.
Yeah, exactly. And it's but the thing is, like, there's luck. Either way, there's luck involved, right? Like, you gotta find a way to meet the director, or he finds you. But the one thing that I will share, like, Sundance is obviously very famous for stuff like that, and how a lot of people probably break into the business by getting their film shown, or the writing, whatever it is, even acting. There are a lot of film festivals that are, one that I took part of a couple times, maybe 3 times. It's called the 48-Hour Film Festival, and they're held in every major city. Every is probably a stretch, but a lot of major cities. And every major city, the top one gets to another pool, and then from there, basically, it could end up in Sundance. And I love the concept. It's not similar to what you're saying, but basically, it's all freelancing, right? You sign up. You could sign up either solo and you find a team, or you could sign up as a team. But you have your main parts, right? Director, producer, writer, actors, etc. And when it's time for the festival to begin, they send every team like different things that they have to incorporate in their film. It's like usually a line, a prop, and everybody gets like a different theme. And then you have the clock starts, and you get 48 hours to pretty much write, shoot, edit, and post your film. And it's really fun. Like, I would love to do it again. I forgot when it happens, but it's very fast paced. You know, it could be stressful at times, right? Especially when you feel like you're falling behind. Like you get to the, you collectively get together. You're starting to think you're right. You have to do this, but it's super fun. It's awesome.
And not only that,
Uh,
it's a test to see who is actually creative and who's just doing this as a hobby, and how,
yeah,
or if you're not good at it now, you can see how other people are doing it and learn from that. And I think I think it's good. I think that's pretty much how people should go now, is because too
yeah,
many people have gotten off easy with writing very horrible screenplays.
yeah, and that's you talk about independence, like that's what it's about right there. It's all independent, right? And yeah, it's just so great. Like one time, they rented out a movie and showed everybody's movie, so like I got to like legit see myself on a big screen, which is pretty fucking cool. And the most rewarding moment was when um I actually improv the line and everybody laughed, and I was like, it was like one of the best feelings in the world.
I know, because it doesn't happen often. No, I'm just
Yeah, no,
joking.
because it doesn't
I'm
happen often.
joking.
Exactly. It doesn't. It doesn't. So no, but like, yeah.
But
So
then another utility writers can use, especially during this day and age, is if you want to go freelance, what they should do is write a script and release it kind of like a book, and people can read it. And then maybe if somebody likes it, they can like maybe like make create like a writer's app or whatever, and you just share it, like kind of like Toon Network is. And
mhm.
people read it, they upvote it, they like it, and then if it gets enough upvotes, it'll be like, oh, this might be good, and then they can work with somebody from YouTube or like some kind of freelancing and make like a little
Mhm.
YouTube series, and
Yeah.
then see if that picks up, and then eventually, obviously, if they get popular enough, they can move into the big industry.
Oh, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, and I've said this for now well over a decade, probably like a decade and a half. Like even to this day, we are in golden age of getting out there. I mean, what we're doing right now is an opportunity of getting right. Like anybody could do it, but you could do it with a plan. You could do it without a plan, and it just sometimes you just need fire to catch, right? And yeah, like I would, even my other friends I talk to that don't do this kind of stuff, I try to encourage them and say, yeah, dude, just go out there and do it. Make yourself a channel, do this, do that, like, but just don't take it too serious.
Yeah, obviously you have your main job, as your main source of fun. This is a hobby, and if your hobby takes off, great for you. If not, then you still have something to fall back on.
Exactly. So
But
yeah, I think we'll see where this goes.
so are you
Um,
for the Writers Guild in this one, or are you against? Because I'm 50-50. I don't know.
well, I don't know all the terms that are being fought for, so I don't wanna take a stand on either or. But if I'm forced to right now in the moment, I would say I'm for, because I'm leaning towards what they're fighting for is a more of a righteous cause, but I don't truly know.
To me, the reason why I'm kind of a little bit nay is because, you know, I understand the pay and how they want to get distributed, but there's a lot of writers in that guild that just are not good with writing, and they should not get paid for that. I'm just gonna be honest with that.
No,
There's a lot
no,
of people in there that are talentless, and they get paid more money than they should.
you are not incorrect, but I'm gonna say this again, kind of a little bit going backwards to what I said earlier. The consumers vote with their dollar. They will always vote with their dollar, and even for those shitty writers, if if the bottom line is if they're making money, they're gonna keep writing even if it's shitty.
Well, and that's the funny thing is, I think people are voting with their money because, like I said, they're bringing on all these British people, with the writers and actors,
Mhm.
and it's doing way better than the American ones.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say this a little bit earlier, but House of the Dragons isn't gonna stop, so I'm happy about that.
That's because they're all English actors.
I know, I know. So, so we'll get that on time.
So speaking of like another little quick roundup here,
Sure.
another English actor is Henry Cavill.
Hmm.
I know we didn't speak about it yet because you haven't watched it, even though I want
Hmm.
to. Volume 1 of season 3 is out, and Volume 2 they just released a trailer for that that's coming out July 27th, and I'm looking forward to it. And if I still have this opinion that if they are going to keep Geralt, which I hope they don't, I hope they go with another Witcher if they're going to bring Liam Hemsworth in there, but it seems like they might use magic to change his appearance.
Hmm.
Like there's
Yeah,
this
didn't you say that
weird.
last week?
I think I couldn't remember if I did or not, but I
I
feel
think you
like
did.
they're gonna use the Wild Hunt and Series Magic to transform Henry in some way to make him into Liam.
And are you in favor of that or not in favor of that? I'm sorry.
I'm not, because I think what they're
Oh,
doing
you're
to
not.
Henry
Okay.
Cavill is like I'm not against Liam Hemsworth. I've seen him in The Hunger Games and some other stuff. And I think he's great. I just don't like the way the directors of Netflix are treating Henry Cavill. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm all for Liam Hemsworth. I just don't like what they're doing. So that's the reason why I'm kind of like, eh.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. That would be funny. It would be funny. We'll see how they do it. I kind of actually hope they do either that exactly or something in name, because I'm not a big fan of like actor changes or actress changes, and
No
there's just
continuity to it.
yeah, there's like, because it's happened in Game of Thrones a couple times, the
Yes.
original, like, and it's like, oh yeah, like that didn't happen. Like, what do you mean it didn't happen? He was freaking brown hair before, and I was a black haired guy with like a big old thick mustache. Like, what do you mean it's not a different person?
Well, the
Like,
biggest
wasn't
one.
it Daenerys is like one of her, like when she came across the continent, like that guy changed or something?
You're talking about one of the Dothraki. He was like the warriors sacking the city with the brand guy.
No, not the Dothraki. He was, I don't know what
Oh,
he
he
was.
was a
Was he
Sellswords guy.
Dothraki? Was he? I don't know,
Yeah,
but either way, but there was one
yeah, and then
that
he
just
turns into
totally
like,
it's totally changed. I was like, what the fuck?
and they weren't even similar. It was like a massive difference too. Like
I
it was a
know.
big bulky dude versus thin guy.
Yeah, yeah. I
But
was like, yeah.
going back to one of the funny big changes is obviously, have you watched Harry Potter?
No,
Okay,
no.
so from Harry Potter 1 and 2,
Mm,
they had Richard Harris casted as Dumbledore, and then unfortunately
mm,
between Harry Potter 2 and 3, he passed away, so they had to get a replacement, which is the
okay.
other guy. What's his name? Michael? No, not Michael Caine. Somebody else. But if you watch Harry Potter 2 and you watch Harry Potter 3 and you didn't realize that change was happening, you're like, wait a minute, Dumbledore looks really different here. Like
Dumbledore's small.
not only that, but like his appearance changed too, and I'm like, okay. And then oddly enough, it turned out to be even better because the new Dumbledore was my favorite. Not no disrespect to Richard Harris because I liked him as an actor too, but the new one did a better job.
Did they provide any context to it?
No, that's it.
No. Okay,
It was just swap.
that's funny.
But going to good crossovers, I'm pretty sure you heard about the Justin Roiland thing. You know about his abuse with alcohol, and then them firing him from his shows like Rick and Morty and some of the other shows.
I think I heard a little bit about that, but not.
So
Yeah.
in one of the shows, because they completely removed him and he's no longer voice acting for them,
Mhm.
one of the characters that he voiced, they actually had a scene where he got stabbed in the throat and they used like a weird gadget to like explain why his voice sounds different. And they're like, "Oh, get the voice changer box." And obviously they healed the character up, and then his voice changed to the new person. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's a good way to introduce somebody, even though I was upset that Justin Roiland isn't there, but
Mhm.
he
It
has a
was a
good,
creative approach. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think something like that is better for anything. So if they do something, uh, if they provide context in The Witcher, obviously we're going to put our opinion on it one way or another. I do want to see something. I think, even though I don't know, I don't have a resolution of my own, but yeah, I like when there's context to it.
I guess we'll find out between season 3 and 4 because this second volume is the last volume with Henry Cavill in it.
Yeah.
So
Here.
that'll be interesting. Do I have any other news roundup? Nope. I think that was it.
Great. All right. Well, let's move on to topic one, shall we?
All right. So first topic was whoops. I have the picture swapped.
Oh, I love
Uh,
that topic.
let's go with the trailers first because I want to save the dramas that feed into each other. So
Exactly.
recently, new trailers for Twisted Metal, Wonka, and Godzilla came out. And I just want to talk about Godzilla first, and we can work our way backwards.
Sure.
Have you seen Godzilla minus one trailer?
I did. It was basically just a teaser trailer. Right? Am I right there, or did I
Y-
miss a different trailer?
you are right. It is a
Okay.
teaser, but it looks like from the people that it looks like a trailer made from Legendary Pictures, but it's not. It's made from the people, the Toho
Yeah, it's
company.
a toe. Yeah, because I remember you brought this up probably probably like 6 to 8 months ago, and you were very excited, rightfully so, because you thought we were getting the next like Godzilla Kong movie, which I think
That's
they had
coming
a
out also
teaser.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a teaser not that long ago as well, I believe. And I was excited because you were excited, and then when I did my homework, I was like, no, it's the Toho one. But that's even more newsy because they haven't done one in like I don't know when. So I'm still excited for it because I've like obviously I think everybody like Godzilla's one of those entities that's like
It,
Hulk Hogan. Everybody knows Godzilla.
it's a
So
staple kaiju. That's it.
it is. But however, with that said, like to my knowledge, I've never sat and watched an entire Japanese version of Godzilla.
I've actually seen most of the Toho ones because they're the ones that kind of have like the weird like, oh, they're on like a normal playing field and Godzilla's like coming up on like, a figure or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but this one looks like was made from Legendary Pictures. Like the quality of him in post World War II Japan, or was it? Is it post or pre? I can't remember if the bomb struck yet, but it's during World War II time.
I want to say it's post, but don't quote me because I don't watch them.
And this is what's making me excited is that these people already have been just completely ravaged by a nuclear bomb, and not only that, they have to deal with Godzilla as well. And I'm like, this is going to be an ultimate monster mayhem film for Godzilla.
Yeah, so without knowing anything story wise beforehand, I am excited for this, and I will admit that I waiting.
I'm sorry, say that
Um,
again. Your mic has been cutting out, but this one was really bad.
oh, okay, I said I've never seen a Toho Godzilla film in the past, but I am looking forward to this one, and I will watch this one full and through. So, yeah, and without knowing really any context, and that's just from a teaser. So,
Well, supposedly because I think the original Godzilla was about World War II, and then they changed it. But I think Toho made one originally, but they didn't like the way that was pitched. So the reason why this is called -1 is because it's supposed to be like the true origin before the first film really happened. I guess
oh, is that so?
that I think that's why they're calling it -1 is because it's supposed to take place before their original film that came out a long time ago.
Hmm. See, I didn't know that, but that's even a better reason to watch it then, I guess, to pick it up.
It's funny.
So,
I think I'm gonna so because like I said mentioned this replay earlier. They have a huge collection of movies like that, and they have the whole Toho Godzilla collection. I think I might buy it just so I can catch myself up before -1.
damn, that's a lot to watch though.
Yeah, but a lot of them aren't that long. They're like maybe like an hour at most. They're not as long as like American films.
Yeah, because I think yeah, you're right. Because I think the length more kind of were like TV show length,
Yeah.
but even though they dubbed them as movies, but yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know. Did they have a release date?
Oh man, I was so entranced with how it looked. I forgot to look if there's a release date. All I know is that title name -1 and how it looked. And that was it.
Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. But
Actually, let's look that up right now. When is Godzilla? When is Godzilla minus -1 coming out? Do they have a thing? I don't know if they have. Oh,
they still
November
have one.
3rd
Oh, okay.
of this year.
So I'll be at BlizzCon.
So going on to another film that I was actually looking forward to because I actually never heard of this or heard that this movie was in development until for some reason I was watching YouTube and a trailer popped up. But there's been a trailer for Wonka. It's with I believe his name is Timothy Chalamet. He's the guy that is also the main actor for Dune as well. He's also another British actor coming up into the scene that's supposedly rising in popularity. Timothy Chalamet is going to play Wonka in this new Wonka movie, which looks fantastic. It's made by the same people that made Harry Potter and Paddington, so
Hmm.
you're just expecting top quality from both of those studios. Um, but not only that, there's a lot of big people there, like Keegan Michael Key is going to be in there,
Hmm.
Mr. Bean's going to be in there, Hugh Grant's going to be in there, which I think is funny. Have you seen the trailer yet?
No, I didn't watch that one. I never saw any. I never saw the Wonka films. So.
So this film is basically Wonka's origins. It's not focused on Charlie or whatever the other guy was. This is actually Wonka coming into his creating these weird wonky chocolates and all that stuff for candy. him starting his business and him finally meeting Oompa Loompas. And the trailer of them showing Oompa Loompa, or Hugh Grant, I think his name is, as Oompa Loompa, is just amazing. I didn't expect what he was going to do, and it looks like it's going to be great. He has the classic Oompa Loompa vibe, and it looks like it's going to be funny, it's going to be cute, and it looks like it's going to be good. That's all I have to say.
Uh, I'll have to check out the trailer afterwards. In all honesty, seeing the other stuff, I just didn't have. I didn't think I would have a reason to, but since you the way you sold it, I'm gonna watch it after the podcast.
It's a short thing. Like I said, it's very whimsical-ish in nature because Wonka has always been weird with creating candy that makes it float, blow up, whatever. And this is creating his origins and him going against the chocolate cartel and how to make his business. It looks good, and Hugh Grant never would have expected him to be an Oompa Loompa, but it looks like he's gonna nail his role.
Cool.
But you've never watched any of the Willy Wonkas, like not the one with Gene Wilder and all that stuff.
Nope. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but I don't know. It just didn't didn't appeal to me.
Wow, because I know I watched that one with I think that's his name, Gene Wilder, that played Wonka in the first one.
No, you're right. You're right.
And then Johnny Depp in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They were both just great films, just because of how silly and fun nature they were.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It just never appealed to me.
That's fine. Yeah, watch this trailer, and I need to hear your opinion if it's something that you might watch. Because, like I said, they has Mr. Bean, Keegan-Michael Key, Hugh Grant.
Like Mr. Bean.
There's a couple other big people on there as well. I just can't remember the name. Obviously, Timothy Chalamet, I think, is the guy Wonka's name. It just looks good all around.
Cool.
But moving on to the next trailer. Have you seen the new Twisted Metal one?
I did, and it sold me.
It sold me too, and we also found out which version they're going with because there's 3 original stories. They're going for the very original Twisted Metal, not Twisted Metal Black or the remake one from 2013. They're going from the very original PS1 that ever came out because the cop is in there.
So once again, another title that I didn't really follow / absorb, like the lore, the story. So that wasn't really a selling point to me, but I just wanted to see enough that's like, okay, is it gonna lure me in? And the first trailers, I think there was 2 before this that were kind of teasered. I was like, I don't think it's my cup of tea. But this trailer, it sold me. Like the lines are still, like, dare I say, cheesy, but they weren't that cheesy where it's like stupid. I genuinely laughed, and I'm like, okay, like they got me one. Like, I liked it. I think Mackey's doing a great job. Not that this was an additional selling point because I knew this, but there's a AEW wrestler that actually plays Sweet Tooth, Samoa Joe, but they're using
Will
Arnett's voice.
And I gotta say that is perfect. Their combination, like the lip syncing and everything, is fantastic.
Yeah, I concur. It's like everything's done well, and then, like, okay, so you mentioned the story in your the direction you're going. See, I don't know anything about it, but like even the little bit of story that they shared, like, it's like, okay, post-apocalyptic, but every city is kind of like a hub, and this guy's like a delivery person. Like, it just worked. I was like, okay, now I understand, and I'm cool with the concept. So, and plus there was a little Chicago in there, so that helps. It helps a lot. So yeah, now I'm looking forward to it. It's supposed to be on Peacock, and Peacock's usually free, right? So
no, you have to pay for this. Well, Peacock is free, but it's only free for certain things. Twisted Metal will not be free, but the subscription is $4.99.
Okay, that could easily be consumed for.
But that's
are they going to release it all at once? Is it going to be a dump?
Knowing it being Comcast, it's probably going to be weekly.
Yeah.
So it's $4.99 with ads, or you can do $9.99 with no ads, or you could just binge it all at the end for $4.99.
That's true. I might just do that. But
that would suck because I want to see it and I want to talk about it.
What's that?
I said that would suck for me because I would want to talk about it. And I know how you are with spoilers.
No, that's fine. Well, I mean, I still may do it depending on how many episodes it is. So therefore, how long do I have to subscribe for?
I would assume it'd be like anywhere from 6 to 8. Because Twisted Metal, unless if they're going to do like a
Or-
whole weird continuity thing with all the games, which is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Because
Uh huh.
Twisted Metal splits up into 3 different timelines. One with Sweet Tooth's idea of it.
Hmm.
Um, so I think it's going to be like 6 to 8 just for the first season.
Are they hour long? Do you know?
Oh, I don't know.
Because if they're half hour long, I don't know if I can do that.
I
I'd
would
rather
assume they're
wait
going to
for a
be
game.
like Last of Us length.
So maybe every episode's different. All right, I'll look into that. I'll look into episode length and I'll figure that out. But yes, this trailer did sell me. I enjoyed it. I thought Mackie was great. Um, he wasn't like over the top. He's not over the top. He's vulnerable, and funny, and I like it.
I'm glad Anthony Mackie is going back to his roots because since he went to Marvel, he changed quite a bit to being like more of like a serious, straightforward actor, and
Mhm.
I didn't like that version of him. I'm not sure if you ever watched the movie Pain and Gain with The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, and
Wahlberg.
him. He was hilarious in that movie, and even his earlier works, he was hilarious. Like same thing with 8 Mile. I like the way he was in 8 Mile. So that's why I'm glad he's kind of going back to his like classic funniness because he is a funny guy, and it's just a shame he wasn't really showing that in the Marvel films.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I'm not familiar. Well, honestly, I'm not familiar with a lot of his even in most films, but uh, like I like him as an actor. So I mean, for what I have seen, so yeah, I'm sold. I'm looking forward to it, and now it's just a matter of when I see it. I guess I still need
Yeah.
to do the Witcher.
I think it's coming out July 27th, so in like two
Oh,
weeks, which I'm very happy about.
also there
But
could be a lot of good eating.
yeah, but one thing I'm surprised because Anthony Mackie's character isn't in the games. Like this is
Correct.
completely a new character, and usually I'm against that. But Twisted Metal would have been difficult without doing it, without creating like an actual single point character to focus throughout the story. Like they did with Mortal Kombat with the Kai character, didn't like that, but this one actually looks like it's done right. Yeah.
And here's why I like that concept as well, because like it kind of gives the vibe, once again, going back to the trailer, and I could be totally wrong about this, but it gives the vibe that every Twisted Metal character is kind of going to be like the boss of a particular city hub, right? So
Mm.
it's like going to Vegas, he's going to deal with Sweet Tooth. I like that dynamic. It's like, oh, they're gonna let's just name another city, fucking Austin, Texas. Like, okay, what Twisted Metal character are we gonna see in Austin, Texas? There may be a lot of ripping going on there because it's like sense. Like, how did they tie it together, or did they do a horrible job? Like, I'm sure a lot of that's gonna because like is the cop gonna be the Chicago one? Who knows? Or is the cop just like in between and he's a cop like state trooper? Don't know that yet. So stuff like that, I think it kind of makes it fun, just like that guessing game.
So one thing I want to know because there's a character in this series. I don't know if they could bring it to the show because he's considered like a godlike character and he's the one that kind of twists reality. His name is Calypso. Do you remember him?
I remember, yes, I remember the name. Wasn't he the last? Isn't he the boss?
He is the boss and he's also the main character because in the 3 different timelines he either starts off as a kid, or he starts off as like the godlike boss at the end, or he comes off as a businessman, and you see like his ascension from all the way through. But
Mm-hmm.
because he's a godlike creature, he can transform himself to any one of those beings and still be that powerful.
Mm.
So I don't know how if they're going to implement him, just because I feel like that would kind of
Well,
ruin narrative stuff.
I don't think so. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because it's a post-apocalyptic world, which in theory runs on the line with fantasy. Why not?
Yeah, it'd just
Why
be weird
not?
because Calypso can do a lot of weird things.
Yeah, but it's a post-apocalyptic world. Like it's
You think he's gonna
like
be like a final, season finale kind of thing, or something like
yeah,
that?
like let him twist the world up. Yeah, I'm for it. Bring it on. Yeah.
That would be interesting if they actually go through all 3 timelines. Like season 1 is the original Twisted Metal, and then season 2 is Twisted Metal Black. The other timeline we're in Sweet Tooth's mind because Calypso changes it, and then after that, after season 2, you go to Twisted Metal 2013 or whenever the other one came out and change
Hmm.
it again.
Yeah. No, I'm for it. Like if they could do it right, do it. That'd be dope.
That would be pretty
But
dope.
we have to wait.
I do think it's interesting that Sony is going through like all these studios there's no well, obviously they're probably choosing the right person for the job, which I'm happy for because the Last of Us they went with Warner Brothers, and now for Twisted Metal they're going with Comcast. So I was like,
Hmm.
that's kind of like a weird switch up. Maybe they all bid for like a deal for a certain game series and like, oh, we'll do really good with this, and that's why they pitched it off. Or I don't know, but I just think it's interesting how they don't have like one studio loyalty like most other people do.
Yeah, I mean that could be. I mean, from one lens, that's cool, but then from the other, it's like, are they in theory selling to the highest bidder, and then can you then potentially ruin a particular IP just because you sold it off to the highest bidder? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, if they ever wanted to create like an extended universe, they would have to go with one studio because, I'm pretty sure you heard about the issues with Marvel versus Sony. Is that Sony owns Spider Man, but Marvel is owned by
yes,
Fox, and now
yes,
because of that, they have to have contract issues and all those things.
yes,
So
yeah,
that's the one issue with Sony going with these other companies. If Warner Brothers like, nah, we don't want to work with Comcast, they can legit stranglehold an IP and not create a universe,
exactly,
or
and
vice
and
versa.
and yeah. Once again, unless there's things in contracts that
Yeah, like if
allow
you
them
want to do
to
this, you have to.
circumvent that, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but who knows? Those are things that are in the now, maybe in the future when it comes to light, and there is for they will come to light. But yeah, who knows, man? I mean, once again, I feel like that's everything revolves around good and bad contracts, right? You could write that in there, like so.
I'm saying this jokingly because I don't want to see it happen, but like I'm picturing like Uncharted becoming a show, God of War, Horizon, all that stuff, and eventually the mass accumulation of Sony shows lead up to PlayStation All Stars, the one game that failed for Sony.
No, let's not take that Smash Brothers approach with Nintendo now. So
I just think it's funny that PlayStation tried to do that with their own properties with PlayStation All Stars, and it failed miserably. Like it died
I'm,
straight off the bat.
and I'm kind of glad it did, and because like I don't know why. Sometimes I feel like not really where credit was credit's due, but let let a new how can I put it?
Idea.
Let a creative idea have its flowers and keep them. Like I get it. It's a copycat world, and if someone thinks they could truly take something and steal it and make it better, which happens a lot too, fine. But I also like these stories too, where
Standalone, move
you
on.
where like you think you could make it better and you tried it and then you fail miserably. Like I sometimes I'm evil like that, and I like to see that happen. So.
But I do after seeing this. Well, I was already convinced in the first one, seeing how good it was.
Mhm.
But this new one, like I said, it
Oh,
sold
were
me.
you?
It seems like it
Okay.
sold you too.
Yeah, no. I wasn't convinced with the first ones. Like I was like I was more or less like probably not. But this one, like it legit's like okay, I want to watch this now. Now maybe even after watching the first episode, I'm like, oh fuck, I was wrong. But it sold me to watch at least the first episode.
Do you know what I think is hilarious? And obviously, it wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to spend the resources. But I was, coming through the comments of like the new trailer, and for some reason there was a small portion of people that were very upset about Sweet Tooth. They were like, "Why isn't his head on fire like it is in the
uh
games?" And I'm like, "It doesn't. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like his iconic look, but does it need to be on fire as long as he has a mask?"
yeah, I concur. I concur. Now let me say one better. Like here's what I like is you have it this way right now, but you could still pander to fan service later
Yeah, like
and
right now,
like
you see how his mask originally ignited.
yes, exactly. And well, don't you think that buildup and that happening would be better
Oh, it would
than
hype a lot
just
of people up.
yeah, exactly. So it's like don't fully shit on it now. I mean, okay, yes, you're a purist and you're very unhappy right now. I agree with you. It doesn't bother me one bit. Am I aware? Yes. But does it bother me? No, because like if you're doing a live action, I mean, yes, you could make it that practical, and like to my point, I think it still can happen. CGI allows it, yada yada yada. But all because it's not there right now, and like to just shit on it, it's like, hold on, maybe there's a build up there.
Let it cook.
Let it exactly right. Let it cook, and I think it would be that much more rewarding if it happens, even if it was at the very last frame of the very fucking last. Similar to even though I haven't watched these movies, but similar to Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movies, right? Like it wasn't to the very end of the movie. I think it wasn't even like post credits even, where he finally like had the more of the Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, it's when he went to the other world. That's when it happened.
Yeah.
Post
So
credits.
it's like let it cook. To your point, let it cook.
Did you watch Sonic 2 at all? The movie?
I haven't watched either one.
You haven't watched either of them?
No.
So I thought I was so. I know it's a weird little transition. So I'm not saying Sonic is bad. I'm not saying the live actions are bad at all. For some reason, those are two movies I've watched the first one through its whole entirety, but it took me a couple go aheads because I kept on falling asleep or losing attention.
Hmm.
The
Interesting.
second one, I gave 7 solid attempts. I usually get to the same point where I'm just like, I'm looking at my phone or I fall asleep. I'm just like, and I'm like questioning myself, like, why can I not get into this movie? Like, it was
Hmm.
just so off-putting to me, and I'm like, it's not bad. The voice acting is good. Everything else is good. I just couldn't watch it.
Really interesting.
Have you ever had
I
like a movie like that where you just like it's not bad, but you just can't watch it?
Man, that's a great question. Um, I'm sure I have, but I can't give you an answer. Um, yeah, I have no answer for you, but I'm pretty sure there is one.
And I think the reason why I try to give Sonic 2 so much attempts is because I really want to see Knuckles, because he's
Mm.
my favorite character besides Shadow, and I didn't even get to his part.
Oh, damn. And not to segue away from me trying to come up with an answer, even though I haven't. But they've been greenlighted for a third, haven't they?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been paying
Oh, okay.
attention.
Okay.
I haven't obviously, like I said, I haven't even finished the first or the second one to even know.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I can't think of anything, right now. But I'm going to answer yes. I'm sure there's one out there. Now, not to the extent of you where like you make a decision to sit down and like, okay, today's the day I want to finish it or I want to, that I definitely can't say has happened, but just to the simple fact of like, channel surfing, like, oh, this one's on again, let me finish it finally. Like I'm sure there is one. I just can't think off the top of my head.
And it's funny because it happens. Maybe I should just skip past this part.
Yeah,
But
you probably should.
there's a certain part in Sonic 2 where Sonic's alone because for some reason they turned him into a human, like a father-child dynamic, and
Mm,
Sonic's more like a child in this one, and he's left alone. He's doing all this stuff to like entertain himself and all that, and that's when I just like doze out.
mm,
So I'm like, maybe I just need to skip past the first 40 minutes and then watch the half end and see if I can
mm,
pick it up from there.
mm. Yeah, I wish I had an answer, but I don't.
Well, I guess this is a question I could pass on to anyone that listens.
Yes, you
Has
can.
there been any movie or show where you're like, it isn't bad, but it just hasn't caught your attention? I'd love to know what loses people, even if it's not bad.
If I may, before we end this topic, if I may throw another trailer out there, what's your stance on this new Ninja Turtles movie?
My stance is I want to watch it when it's released, like rental,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to crap on the voice actors
Mm-hmm.
because I know Seth Rogen is trying to take the classic teenage approach, hiring teenagers to voice act him. Like the animation doesn't look bad. I know you don't like it because it's got the comic book look. I just have no true opinion. Like I'm not gonna say it's bad. I'm not gonna say it's good. I just need to watch it to get a real opinion on it, a real feel.
I I I actually agree with everything you're saying. I saw the last trailer and I think I'm just going to watch it simply because part of my childhood, love Ninja Turtles. I'm not fully supporting this one because it hasn't lured me in. And I agree with you, everything you said. Like I actually also enjoy the fact of what Seth Rogen wants to do and actually have actual teenagers. But I find myself exactly how you assessed it. As I watched trailers, like I'm not too sure about the voice acting that was chosen. Like I liked the concept, but now that it's happening, even with the villains too, like some of the villains, it's like, ugh. So that part, if I'm saying it now, it's probably gonna still ring true throughout the movie. But like, I think just because of Ninja Turtles, I want to see it. and then who knows? Maybe I'll be wowed and be like, oh fuck, I'm glad I was wrong. But yeah, those are the same concerns I have, man.
Yeah, because like I'm not sure if you watched the Michael Bay TMNT movies, the two that they came out,
Yes, yes,
but
I love them.
you love them?
I did. See, and that's the problem I think with me, because like there's just something about feeling like a kid again.
Okay,
Like like
I'll let you finish and I'll rewind.
no, I think that's really the butt of my answer. Like, especially part two. Probably a lot of people hated part two even more. Like when Krang happened and everything, like I was just like so giddy. I was like, I don't know. That's just me.
So my I'm not gonna say those were bad movies because I actually did enjoy them a little bit, like especially the elevator scene when the turtles were in there doing their own beatbox and stuff. I like that. To me, what turned me off is they had the voice. It was the visual look of them that turned me off. And not only that, but Megan Fox was she April or was she another character?
She was April.
I didn't like her as April.
Yeah. No, she definitely wasn't. She's not an April. She's not. That was obviously a sex sells move, to try to get additional eyes. Elaborate stuff than that, because it's Hollywood. But
Well, I
but
think
I
Michael
agree.
Bay has a thing for Megan Fox because Transformers, made by Michael Bay.
I know, and that I wasn't gonna go there, Josh, but you caught what I was throwing. But that's why I said who knows? Who knows? It's Hollywood. But yeah, no, I agree. But it didn't bother me. Do you want more, or do you want better casting? Yes, but like for me, it was the turtles still. Turtles. Everything else was still supporting. So
And that's
yeah,
the weird thing is like you said, Turtles are the forefront. They're the most important characters.
mhm,
Like I said, everything about them was good,
mhm.
except the look of them.
I,
They look too brawlic for me. They look almost like
yeah,
they look like real mutants, and I didn't like that. I wanted more turtle-ish looks from them.
yeah. Once again, it didn't bother me. I still ate it up alive. But this is the first. Well, actually, I shouldn't say this is the first one. I mean, these are more in comparison to the latest Nickelodeon rendition.
Oh, those are horrible. I've
Yeah,
watched them and they're awful.
well, I've never watched them, and then that's because my initial assessment of that was it was going to be awful. And yeah, like it, I don't want to say downward spiral, but they have been falling off on me. But it's still Turtles. I gotta throw my money at them.
It's funny. I blame this on the day and age, and going back to the Writers Guild a little bit, is that the current writers just suck. They take a beloved franchise IP and just ruin it. Like Scooby Doo. The 60s, 70s ones were great. The Guess Who Scooby Doo, Pup Named Scooby Doo, Mystery Incorporated, those were all great. The next Scooby Doo edition, all woke, weird nonsense. And then same thing with TMNT. They said the same thing. Like the old TMNT was great, and then the TMNT from like 2002 to like 2007, they even had that TMNT movie. Those were all fantastic. It felt like TMNT.
Mhm.
But the new stuff, it's like they try to pander to people that they shouldn't pander to, and that's the problem. Like, make TMNT what people love: classic, fun, give a little action in there, but don't make it serious. Don't make it a political point. Just have
I
fun.
think I think I think pandering is fine, but you have to do it right. Like
They don't do
I
it
think
right.
no, that's the thing. The issue I think you have, and you're not wrong, is it's forced pandering without trying to like stay true and still I guess respect the IP instead of just forced pandering. It's like you're doing it to really just say, oh look, we're appeasing to XYZ crap. Like yeah, you did, but you did a shitty job.
Yeah, even they aren't watching it. It's like, okay, well, you did it for them, but
So
are they
now you
supporting
just
you?
ruined it. Yeah, exactly. Now you just ruined it for a larger mass of people. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I don't think I'm gonna go to.
Oh, I'm not. I'm waiting for it to like
Yeah,
hit either streaming service or rental. That's it.
yeah, which is kind of a shame because even like the other two you mentioned, the Michael Bay, still went to the theater and saw them. Didn't we see the one that came out last time, didn't it? Right. So and even the full cartoon one. I saw that one in theater too, where it was more of a darker.
That
Did
was
you see
really
that one?
good. Well, we didn't see that one together, but
We didn't
that
see that one too. Okay, but yeah, that one was cool too because like they all started the movie with their issues.
yeah, and they're
So
all off from each other.
yeah, like Leonardo was like in the freaking Amazon or something.
Yeah.
Like that was cool. Like that one to me was good too.
Also, the way they did Raphael was fantastic. You know, him being in that turtle metallic suit on a bike and
Hmm.
then fighting and then
Hmm.
playing Black Betty with it.
Yeah, that was great, and unfortunately, that was a one and done. Um, but
Well,
yeah, I
well, it
mean,
wasn't necessarily a one and done because that actually did connect to the shows
oh,
from
did it?
2003 or 4 all the way until 2007 leading up to the movie. Like it wasn't like a direct connection, but it was from the same people that made those.
I think you're right because didn't they also had Hun in it? That's the big guy with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They had him in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, and I think that's why I adored it a little bit.
And they also had Shredder's daughter, which was also only in that
Yes,
new one too.
correct. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. You're right. You're right. Yeah, and that's why I liked it even more because, like, for me, that's pinnacle TMNT that era. Like, I still have all the DVDs. They're behind me, but
dude, Paramount Plus, I got them all 4K.
I fucking loved that gen. Like, I watched it every Saturday like a kid. New episode. I don't know how old I was at the time. Was you said 2003? So I guess I was didn't care.
You're like 22 chicken nuggets.
Don't care. I want my TMNT to stay. I fucking loved that era.
Yeah.
I liked that more than you know growing up as a kid watching the originals.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Well, the benefit that the one that we're talking about had is that it had a story to go with it. The original was just going off, whatever they had an idea for and they went with it. The 2002 to 2007, they actually had a script and they were going from, Shredder to whatever that brain looking alien is and then to outer space and all that stuff. They had a
I think they're
timeline.
called Umtrons or Utrons or something. Yeah,
Utrons, yes, that's what they are.
yeah, like they made Shredder, and some people actually didn't like that. I did. I was like, that gave Shredder a whole different origin story. Kind of even gives it a little bit more explanation why he's so stupid powerful. Like, I loved it.
Well,
I absolutely loved
well,
it.
not only that, The Last Ronin is actually inspired by that Utron saga where they go when the turtles
Ooh,
go back in time to that Japan era.
dude, now that's the movie I'm fucking waiting for. I still hope that movie happens.
Well, are you going to play the game? Because the game is actually happening.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the game. Yeah,
Because I have The
yeah.
Last Ronin right there, and it's a fantastic story.
I heard.
It's
You might
very
have to let me
sad.
follow it.
Go ahead. It's fantastic because I'm not going to spoil it too much, but obviously, Mikey is the last TMNT character.
Yeah.
And the way they show how everything happens and then how he adapts to his current situation and him having all the weapons signifying his brothers, it's just perfect storytelling. And it's funny because it also goes with I've mentioned him before. He made Alita Battle Angel, and he worked with James Cameron. Robert Rodriguez, he also is the one that promoted The Last Run as well. And so far, if they do make a movie, I'm suspecting that he's actually going to be the director behind the movie
I hope so.
because he does
So,
fantastic work too.
and the last one, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the original TMNT writers are part of that, right?
I, I would have to look at the thing again. I don't think they are.
You don't think? I thought they were.
I think this was someone that worked with them because I'd have to look. I can't
Well,
really say for
well,
sure, but I have the book right there and I'll tell you.
okay, yeah, yeah. I'm pretty. I'm feeling confident they were, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, no. Oh god, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the game and or movie. Yeah, and even I haven't even read it, but like I have absolutely nothing but positive things on that story. So yeah, I need to read that. I need to borrow it from you. I
Yeah.
don't read often, but I do want to read that. I'm being honest. Like I don't. But I will set up side time to read that.
I think they made an animated series too about this, and if you were to like get like a little preview, it would be the TMNT meets Batman because it's kind of like darkish like that.
And that's another one I have that I haven't even have, also heard good things about. Probably read that one first since I
Yeah,
actually own that one.
yeah, those are
But
those are two pretty good ones.
cool. Well, that's all I want to add to the table. Throw the TMNT in there.
It's funny that we both have the same opinion. We're like, we don't love it, we don't hate it, we just need to see first.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess another question to the people that are listening: how do you
Sure.
feel about this new TMNT? Are you for it? Are you against it? Or you like have to wait and see? But is there anything else you want to add?
To that topic, no. I pretty good. I think as far as everything come out recently, um, yeah.
I wanted to
I'm
talk about, I guess, a little thing at the end. Dune
sure.
2 came out, or the trailer
Mm,
for that. And I know you're
mm,
not interested in it, you don't care.
no.
I'm looking forward to it. The only problem is it's not going to be streaming on Max right
It, it,
away, it's
it's
going to be in theaters.
it's not that I don't care. I actually, from what I saw of the first one, I actually like what I saw. I just, once again, it's just another thing I'm not like ready to set aside time to actually sit and watch. But it does look like that sci-fi does. But yeah,
Speaking of which, I know we said a whole bunch of things, and I know we kind of mentioned this off stream, but did you
said a
have
whole bunch of
any.
things.
Did you want to share your nominations for the Was it the Grammys?
Oh, the what is it? The Emmys.
Emmys, yeah.
Yeah, we did talk about that off stream because wondering if it would be a topic. We as we just did. I didn't do my homework unfortunately. I know we don't know how many got, but that one episode with Nick Offer, actor.
Hold on. Repeat yourself a little bit because your mic keeps cutting out for some reason more than ever. So a little side information. Currently, the Real Shiesty is not streaming because we're testing a theory to see if it's because he streams that's what's mic cutting out. So
And we
unfortunately,
now
we
know it's not the case.
yeah.
Um. Okay, so I'll start from I guess beginning. House of the Dragons, from my understanding, got 8 Emmys. And then I noticed that since we followed The Last of Us through its entire season, that one episode with Nick Offerman.
The
Am I
standalone that
cutting off
doesn't
again?
count for no, you're fine. I just think it's funny that the one episode that wasn't actually for The Last of Us is getting nominated.
Well, no, that's my point. Is I don't know all of I'm sure it got nominated for other like actually I think Pascal got nominated for like male lead, and I'm pretty sure it's for last, but I don't know.
It would have
Anyway,
to be The Mandalorian. I would be surprised he
you think
gets
so? Maybe more than Lando? Maybe.
because
I don't
Mandalorian
know.
is better than Last of Us. I'm gonna be real with you.
No. I get it. Fucking Star Wars, like duh. But like, um, I don't know. I like I said, I didn't do my homework. But what I did see, and this is just straight from social media, that episode got nominated, but it was nominated for the writing, which I thought was like, really writing? Like I thought it would have been the actors in that, like for like minor role in or something like that. So
Or
I
your
thought that
guest
was shocking.
appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I said, I thought that episode was fantastic. Like all the way around. I mean, I guess say what they accomplished in that one episode, I could see that. But I was a little shocked by that.
It's funny. This year has been a weird year for shows in general because there's another series called it's a Star Wars show. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Andor. There was a certain like 2 episode segment where I forgot what the guy's name is. The actor's name is Diego Luna. His main character was in a prison, and he's with the guy, the guy that played Caesar and all that stuff in Gollum. He's the person that voice acts
Oh,
and animates him.
and Andy Circus? No, is that his name?
I don't remember his name. All I know is that the guy that played Gollum and Caesar in the movies, he's in that
Mm-hmm.
thing as well. And
Mm-hmm.
those 2 episodes were the best episodes I've ever seen because really heartbreaking and very emotional. And I hope that they get nominated for an Emmy because Andor was just a phenomenal show altogether. The best, in my opinion, of all Star Wars shows. And I hope just because of those people, they should get nominated for the writing and acting for that series.
Yeah, I'll have to. Once again, obviously, I know it's out there, so I didn't do my homework to actually. Um, but yeah,
Well, I
that's all
guess it's
out there
coming up, so maybe we can talk about the
for
selections later
sure.
on.
For sure.
All right, so I guess we can move on to topic number 2. So this one I wanted to bring up because I feel like we've talked about this before about accountability and also how you should watch what your children interact or watch who your children interact with. So recently, Colleen Ballinger, also known as Miranda Sings on YouTube, she they label her as a comedian, which I don't think she's really that funny at all. I thought she was more like just a kid skit. But she has been accused of, well, not accused, but actually fact is talking inappropriately to minors, and also doing inappropriate things with them on stage. Either having them put their hands down their pants for like a cheese ball or whatever, or spread their legs and reveal things to them, and also just say, oh, hey, dress conservatively. Well, obviously this is like a skit to like how women dress and all that stuff, but she was like, you should dress this way, and then if there's a person dressing skimpy, she'd purposely out them because that's how society deems it. But she would constantly use the word porn with minors, and like specifically show their bodies, and I'm like, you shouldn't do that. You're a 30-year-old woman talking to these 13, 17-year-old kids about inappropriate things, your personal relationship, and other sexual explicit stuff that they have multiple things of. And not only that, she had an actual grudge against one of these minors that she actually hired him for social media at 17 and did a post, and after that they split. But because of that, she was leaking information about that person so people can go attack them. And I'm like, you're a 30-year-old woman, specifically releasing information about the 17-year-old so people can attack him on your behalf because you didn't like the way that certain things were portrayed that even you greenlighted. But then after following all those allegations, she recently made a video. People are dubbing it an apology video of her playing a ukulele. It's 14 minutes long. But if you really listen to it, it's not an apology video. It's more like a fuck you video. Like, I do not say what I did wrong. It's really your fault. The parents are wrong. And I'm like, yes, the parents are wrong because they really should have been watching what the kids were doing and seeing what they're, interacting with. But at the same time, you were being really wrong with inappropriate children. So now she's going through this huge backlash, but it's you've seen the video, right? You've seen her apology video.
Yes, could you share it to me? So I did watch it. I to be honest with you, before this was a topic, I have no idea who this broad was. And I guess ultimately I still don't, but I did watch the video, and I guess if I now share my take on all this as through how I consumed it, watched it, and immediately I'm like, this chick, like quirky, and like something's not right. There's some loose screws there. And then she immediately says that her lawyers told her
not to say anything, but she's gonna sing about it.
But they didn't say anything about singing about it. I'm like,
she should have listened.
Okay, you are obviously stupid. But here's my homework. I'm watching it. So I'm watching it. So now, like, I hate to say this, but like a lot of the things she sung about without knowing any, let me preface this without knowing any context. I don't know nothing about what she was being accused for or anything, but everything she sung about / said, I couldn't help but to agree with, because these were things about many times on podcasts before, right? But when you learned about what she's done, and you've actually shared, didn't know. I did do a little extra research after watching the video. Why is this all happening? And I read about the group stuff, and then other things, and like, you can with a knife cut things to say like, okay, like there can be innocent with some things, but then there's obviously other things that are, okay, absolutely not. Like, there's something fucked up there. And I'm not trying to like defend or anything, but like, there's something really wrong with this. And it's kind of sad. And that's not to defend her, but like at the end of the video, like I actually had a little bit of a level of concern. I'm like, I feel like this chick might commit suicide.
Yeah, and not only that, but I feel bad for her children because she's a mother of 3.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
So I'm like, if
I
she's
didn't.
doing this with minors outside that are not her children, what is she doing with her children? And what are they going through?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think of that approach. Like, I hate to. I guess I'm gonna admit, like, had a little bit more innocent, like in herself, which you take like just keep it in the simple. You mentioned like family. You know, I remember growing up and just use the crazy Anthony on my, but like even as a kid, she would share some things that you're like, why the fuck you telling me this,
Yeah,
lady?
like your sex life with your ex-husband and divorcing and all that stuff.
Whatever it may be, right? Like, dare I say that's commonplace, but I'm sure it happens to a lot of people, or a lot of kids or whatever.
Yeah, and also she was
But
trying to downplay because like she was like, "Oh, yeah, because I did something inappropriate with a fart joke," but well, she didn't reveal that what she did was she spread a minor's legs that she knew didn't have much underneath and spread them so far wide that people in the crowd can pretty much see everything.
so I saw that video, but I didn't know that like that was really exposed.
so
I thought it was still covered,
So
but
according to the girl, she was wearing like some other stuff, but she was dressing that way on purpose to, like I said, to
yeah.
basically get degraded for wearing skimpy clothing. But she
Hmm.
was nominated for the yoga thing, and supposedly Ballinger kind of seen what she was wearing. She was like, "All right, well, we're gonna make you do the yoga challenge where you gotta lay on your back and spread your legs." And because she was wearing a skirt and some leggings and all that stuff, luckily she was covered, but
Mm.
she's also an underage kid that wasn't expecting
Yeah,
to get, revealed like
correct.
that.
Correct. And once again, learned that afterwards, like it was underage, and then they did the fart foley, and then that. It's interesting because per that chick that it happened to, I guess it was all fun and games until the fart noise happened.
No, no, no.
Fart.
So the reason why, because like I was watching these videos trying to research this,
Mm-hmm.
because she said that she wasn't expecting that to happen, but the reason why she was unhappy and unnerved by it is because afterwards, as the concert or show ended, or whatever show she had, there was a lot of people there that are, I guess, some of her fans are adult fans are more predatory-ish, and they were
Mm,
looking at her in a different way
mm.
because of
Oh,
that.
so this Colleen chick does have an adult fan base. So
Yes.
okay, because the way it's kind of like, at least what I gathered, it seemed like it was very kid oriented.
Oh,
Which
there's a
I
lot
mean,
of kids that watch it, but they shouldn't.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, obviously, some adults would follow her, um, but yeah. So like learning all the other stuff, and like I said, there's some things where it's like, okay, if it was just that, like, I don't want to use the word innocence, but you could see where it would be somewhat okay. Like I know that sounds god awful the way I'm wording, but like in like if it was a family thing, it's like, okay, that shit happens. But since it's not family, it's just like, what the fuck you thinking?
Yeah, and the
But
way
then
she
like,
tries to pass off, oh, it was a simple fart joke. It was more than
yes,
just that.
well, yeah. So like, because like the other part that I was that part where she has like this fan club that's a group chat, and
Oh,
she decided to
Colleen's
actually join
weenies.
it. Yeah, that one. Yeah, and like that just got super weird. And yeah, it's just like I don't know, like I don't know her, and I know when I say this, I don't know what kind of um, circle of friendship she has. Like, okay, you mentioned she was married. That part I did catch, but it's like, makes me wonder, like, do you not have any adult friends?
Well,
Like,
well,
is
she,
that
according to what I've heard, is that she has two others, but according to the internet,
mm-hmm,
they've also said some very inappropriate things to children, knowing that they were children. Like there was a male friend that she had that would talk into this group chat saying, "Oh, you guys are my best friends. I love all of you guys. I can share things I can't share with anybody else." And I'm like, that's very predatory like behavior and talk. And this is like a grown 30 something. I'm assuming the same age as Colleen, saying this to this group chat of children. Like, oh, you're my best friend, I could talk to you, or I could say whatever I need to do
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
you can't
yeah,
say
yeah.
with my family,
Yeah.
whatever.
But like, okay, so but I thought you were saying her other adult friends would join her in those escapades.
Well, yeah, those are two of
Oh,
her
okay.
adult friends.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So they were kind of basically doing the same things.
Yeah.
Okay. So once again, I'm not trying to sound like a fucking therapist because I'm not. But there lies another problem, right? You're surrounding yourself with people that aren't telling you that this is wrong, right? Like if that's who you're surrounding yourself with, you're going to think it's right until now it's your world's being ruined because no one's telling you. Now, once again, you should be able to think for yourself and be like, okay, something's not right here. I'm 30 something. There is a dynamic here that's, but everybody thinks differently. Everyone's raised differently. And if you're surrounding yourself with, I guess, and call a spade, bad people, then you kind of inherit those attributes and don't really even realize it's bad. Um, but that's scary. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, but then like that whole video is just like now knowing the shit that she's done, and you consciously avoid what lawyers tell you to do, and then do that, man.
I love how she's all. I
Like,
mean,
like you are fucked up in the head.
yeah, and the weird thing about her apology videos, like I said, there is some half truths in there where it really is a parent's job where they should be monitoring that stuff. And she said that she was PG-13 or whatever, but also at the same time, she shouldn't have been like that with these people. But in this weird group of circle of people in that media entertainment business, because there's her, there's a guy named Shane Dawson, and some other people like what's his name? I want to say Jeffree Star, but that's not him. There's another guy. People in that business, all of them have been, proven to have these weird relationships with people that they shouldn't be having. And I'm like, is it because of what they're into? Is it because YouTube? Like, what is it? What does that
That's
cause them to do this stuff?
like, yeah, like I don't know, man. Like I hate to say this because it paints anybody that's in that field in a bad light. But like when you do content that airs, like for me, it almost immediately raises a
James
even,
Charles, that's his name.
and I'm sure there's really good people out there that do this line of work in some capacity and do it. But like the way we're conditioned to think immediately is like, oh, that's your line of work. Like you must be like something must be wrong with you. Like in this case, like you must be a child. Like what do you do in the game? Like into like the Teletubbies and Barney and all that.
Well, did you hear about
Like
the Wiggles thing? Apparently, there's been stuff
no,
about the Wiggles now too. I don't know
no,
the full story because I didn't investigate, but supposedly there's
yeah,
stuff there too now.
yeah. Like I hate to say it, but like if that's your clientele and that's what you're close to, like ulterior motives, man. Like what else are you getting from it? Like it just makes you like fucking shiver because it's like it's disgusting.
This is why we all need
And
the Henry Cavill approach. Keep it professional.
right there you go. But like and it's because we're talking not just underage kids. I mean they're very you get PTSD at that age as well, the teenagers. But it's like it sucks. It's like if this is the almost the narrative, like how do kids get their content? It's like, I mean, there's obviously other ways like cartoons and shit. Let's talk about. I mean, we always talk about.
Oh, dude,
Look at
cartoons are
cartoons.
even worse nowadays because now they have all the, like I said, pandering like they have now. It's worse. Now they're talking about periods or sexual identity switching. And this is in
Well,
like classic Disney meant for 3 to 7 year olds. And
not only that, not even the current day stuff, but even the stuff when we're growing up, like everything has adult innuendos, right? Like it's
oh,
enriched history
Looney
has it.
Tunes and the Animaniacs are the worst for
Oh,
those. Or
Jesus
what's this
Christ!
called? Olympians.
The racism in Animaniacs was like, oh my god. But as a child, you're never going to know any of it. Like, once again, I've said it on a previous podcast many times. My favorite movie growing up that made me stop crying no matter what it was, Duck. You watch that shit now, and it's like, how would you let a child watch that? But as a child, you don't recognize any of it, right? It's the innocence there, right? But kind of went off the rails there a little bit. But this, like, I can't wrap my head around it. In that video, like, I just, like, you could see it in the eye, like, and
She's
you could
gone.
almost see it in the head. Like, you could see gears moving, but, like, I don't want to say, I mean, I guess, yeah, it is nefarious, but, like, yeah, it was just like something's really wrong with it. And like I said, like, damn, like, is this chick gonna commit suicide? Because I kind of got that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, but I think the reason why I brought this up is obviously because we've talked about, multiple things, but this one's actually proven, and it is kind of interesting seeing people defend her. It's a double standard.
Yeah.
But I think
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think the reason why I want to bring this up is because I feel like everybody wants to put the blame game, and obviously, like I said, she is 100% in the wrong. But I think this should be like a sign because of all these things that are happening with all these content creators and show people. Have a conversation with your children. Ask what they're watching. Look at what they're watching, and you go through their phone or whatever, and be like, okay, is there anything you don't want me to see? And if so, tell me why. I'm understanding. I'll accept it, but I need to know if you're talking to someone that's inappropriate or whatever. And parents need to stop being afraid of talking to their children about this stuff. Like, you don't have to be their best friend. Just have a simple understanding of what they do.
Not only that, but you also got to put limitations on them. And just kind of piggybacking last week, right? That player, that gamer that spent their parents' life savings, like we don't totally blame the parents in that because of how he did it, but like, there. Let me give a perfect example. Like my friend, that on his phone, he sets a data boundary. You get this data, you're done. It just locks your phone, everything. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
Limit, yeah. Those are the things that fucking need to happen. If the kid don't like it, too bad, too sad. You're the parent. That's just one little example, but I agree with you. Like, yeah, she's in the wrong, but parents also have a responsibility. And I hate to say this because I know this is true too, but there are parents that also will allow their kids.
Oh yeah, they pimp their kids out.
Exactly. And that's another horrible thing in this world too.
And they should just be held equally accountable, just like Colleen should be.
And but you know what? Like let's just use this example. They could have pimped their kid out with her, but yet they'll be the victim.
Yes.
When they are in some just as wrong.
I can't remember what the kid's name is. The one I was talking about earlier that Colleen basically used her fan base to attack this kid that was running her social media at 17. The mother knew what was going on the whole entire time, but only said something after he was being blamed for the social media account. And I'm like, that's on the mother's fault too, for not stopping this before it got out of hand. He was 17 doing a social media account for a creator that has a platform of, I'm assuming, millions. And you also know the messages that they're sending and all the things they're doing. She should have stopped that from the start. Or at least monitored it.
Well, I would say monitor. Like okay, so I believe it was 16, but even 16, 17, we all know a 16 by law, I think, for most places, could work.
Are you talking about from the account?
No, not 16.
He was 13 when he met her and all that stuff happened. He was 17 when he did the account management.
Okay, so 17, like, I mean, I think kids could work at that age, right?
They can
legally, right?
But they usually have to have like an adult consent and all that stuff, and there has to be certain laws about it.
Correct. Okay, but with certain laws, they could do it, right? So that part to me is fine, but like you said, there still needs to be a level of
monetization.
Moderation.
Yes. You're gonna say monetization, but
no.
moderation.
I was looking for moderation from the parent because, like I always like to put myself in someone else's shoes to try to think about, right? Like if I was my 7 gig, I'm doing this, like this is awesome, and like they pitch it to me and sell it to me, I'll be like, that does sound awesome, that's cool. But I would also make sure, be like, hey, look, I need to know more. I need to see. I need updates. Like like that's your worker, but or that's your boss, but I'm your boss too. So not saying I'm gonna take your cut, but yeah, no, there's totally a level of responsibility on the parent. 110%.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I just feel like people like you said, they like to play the blame game and the victimhood, but really in this scenario, both sides are equally accountable, and I think this needs to be a wake up call for people. Uh,
Yeah, no.
so I'm gonna bring this out to light. Unfortunately, I have to end this very soon. We were gonna talk about hazing. There is this whole Northwestern thing where players were hazing each other, and a lot of supposed sexual abuse were happening.
Hmm.
But then also due to that, they fired the head coach Patrick Fitzgerald because supposedly he was saying he didn't know, but people were saying he did know, and he was actually the one basically pointing out the new players to haze. So unfortunately, we aren't going to be talking about that right now. We will post it till for next week, but the hazing bit, I'm sorry for cutting it short.
No, it's fine. Hey man, we're people with personal lives, man. So it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, you summed it up, and we opted to throw it in today because very well with this Colleen topic, and we were going to usher it in and segue
Is
really
hazing
nicely
okay?
here. But yeah, well, yeah, is hazing ever okay? That was our topic, but that's fine. I mean, we could pick up another time. I mean, kind of a topic. I'm sure that'll still have traction, and it's occurred through time, and unfortunately, probably will still occur more. But
Yeah, because this was actually a good topic because obviously during this incident for football, it's more big because the head coach was fired, even though they said he was going to get suspended for 2 weeks, but they're like, nope. The director of athletics and the president of Northwestern were like, nah, we're just going to fire you. And there's more drama behind that, which I'd love to get into next week, and then also the hazing process, but
yeah, so
it
much
is
more
pretty
trauma.
big.
But okay, cool. Since we're wrapping up here, anybody feel free to like, subscribe, share, please share, and comment on anything that you heard today, and to read them and to your responses. So until next week, this was episode 44 of the Automata Podcast. Love y'all. Oh wait,
Whatever that last
uh,
part is, it cut out, but all
I'm
we heard
good.
was we love you.
Damn it. All right. Till next week. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.
Peace.